Alrighty. So it's been a while since we've done a screencast for Violet Rails, but better late than never. We're here with David. We're going to take a look at Violet, how the development environment setup process looks like in 2025, because it's our 5th year anniversary now. Right? So let's do it. David's driving.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
5 years.
5 years, man. Where does the time go?
Yeah.
Okay.
David did a quick plug.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
follow me. But,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So David's driving. David's on a machine. David's on a Mac from the looks of it, right?
Yep, that's right. I'm a Mac OS, so I'm using the latest OS right now, so it should be without any issue of downloading the code to my local machine.
Nice. Let's do it. Let's go clone this through SSH.
Okay. So when you say SSH, what do you mean by that? Could you explain?
Yeah. So there's 3 ways you can grab the repository. You can just download it, right? That way you will have a local copy. You can clone via either SSH or HTTPS, which means you have a GitHub account. And then when you clone it, it actually starts tracking the changes to that code repository. So that's the main difference between downloading versus cloning. Because you can clone via HTTPS, which means you give your username. You give your GitHub username and password. Or if you've already set up SSH, which is secure shell, which means you have a cryptographic secret that's shared, right? A public-private key pair. That's a public key pair that's been shared between your machine and GitHub, so they can communicate directly, kind of like whispering ear to ear, right?
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The reason I recommend you clone is that you get the benefit of Git tracking, right? Imagine you make a change. Imagine we run into some kind of problem here. It's been a minute since, as far as I know, someone set up Violet Rails.
The audio is just dipping out. It's getting lower and lower.
Oh, is it? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now it's way better. It's way better.
Okay, I'm gonna yell because I'm outside, but I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling at the audio. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I can hear you perfect. Yep. So from here, you want me to clone the SSH, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So copy that.
I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna open up my terminal. So right now, I'm actually just showing only the window, but I'm gonna share my whole screen so you can see everything that opens up. So just give me a moment to switch.
And what I'm gonna do on my end is I'm gonna line up the Violet Rails first time setup documentation, because part of this is maintaining the code and also maintaining the documentation. Because if someone comes in and it's really difficult for them to get started, why should they bother?
Okay. So I'm going to open up my thing called iTerm. So I'm just going to make this screen. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, let's make it a little bigger.
Sure.
And then go Command +++. Yeah, let's go Command +++. Nice. Perfect.
Okay.
Amazing.
So I will log in, add it like this.
Oh, so let's put it in a good spot. You want to put it in Documents?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go into Documents. Oh, this is a new laptop too. So let's.
It's been around for a bit, but I don't know why it's doing that.
No worries. We'll grant permissions as we go. So let's do git clone and then that URL.
Okay.
Nice. Perfect. So it's saying you haven't actually set up SSH between this machine and GitHub. So since the cameras are rolling, what I recommend is do you want to clone via HTTPS? because the only difference is you're gonna have to give your username and password every time you want to send out a commit.
Okay, sure, I can do that. So
because that's what I recommend is let's do that, and then let's do a session on setting up SSH on this device.
Okay, so I'm gonna do
right. Same thing. Git clone. Yeah, git clone that endpoint. Yeah. So then what that's going to do is that's going to pull the code directly, because guess what? This is a public repo.
Right.
So it doesn't matter which GitHub user pulls this, right? So one thing to note right now is this is not really tracked, right? So if we make changes, it's not going to be tracked, but I don't think, it tracked through Git because we don't have that SSH connection or that HTTPS connection with an account, right?
Okay, so even if I did, so let's say, for instance, for an audience, let's say you push code to the repo and I do like a git pull to my machine, would that be able to pull like code from that latest repo onto my machine or not?
Let's find out. So let's cd into Violet Rails and let's say git status. So you're on the main branch, okay, which is the master branch. Let's say, well, there's no changes. So let's make a quick change. But before we make a change, let's hop into the docs and get the, let's just set up Violet Rails, right? Because once we have something running, it's easier to change it, right?
Okay, so when you say docs, is it within this repo or is it on the actual website? On the cloud solution?
It's on GitHub. So let's navigate to the docs. So let's find the docs, which is, let's scroll to the bottom of that page. Development cheat sheet. It's at the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So we actually did the first two steps, which is cloning the project and going into the directory, right?
Okay.
Now, David, do you have Docker installed on this machine?
No, not anymore.
It's okay. We'll do it. So follow that link. Yeah. Follow that link. Download Docker Desktop this is a Apple Mac. Sorry, this is a Apple Silicon Mac. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Yeah, let's drag that into applications. Perfect. And also, setting up Docker in 2025 on a Mac is really easy. Yeah. This used to be complicated. I would say in 2021, 22, this used to be complicated, but not anymore.
Yeah, I remember that process. It was very complicated. I'm just like, I can't figure out this technology.
Yeah.
There you go.
It still takes a little bit of time, though, to like click through everything. Okay, accept. These are the terms. Use recommended settings. And then password. Allow. Yeah, you want it to find devices on the network. And hit skip on this. Yeah, on that skip, yeah. Perfect. So now if you go click on the Docker icon in your toolbar at the very top, your macOS toolbar, it's on your top right. Yeah, top right. Okay, perfect. So Docker desktop is running. That's great. So now we can actually run our Docker commands. But what I do recommend before running our Docker commands is let's restart your terminal, because we changed something at the shell level, right? So let's quit out of this and open it again. No, completely quit out of it. Like, yeah, hit Command Q on, yeah, there you go. Perfect. I just want to make sure there's no reason we'd get an error.
Of course, I understand.
Okay, let's go back. Documents, Violet Rails. And then let's go back to the docs, and it's it's two commands. We have to do a Docker Compose build and a Docker Compose up.
So where's the commands? Okay.
So what I would do is I would copy Docker Compose build.
Line by line.
No, not line by line. I would do, yeah. I would go, yeah, and, right? So I would put that in. I would put that into your terminal. Space and. Yeah. Docker Compose up. And I would also do and attach, yeah. Because then what that will do is it will do those in order after each one, right? That way we will have kind of everything lined up. So what that's going to do is it's going to do a Docker Compose build. It's going to do a Docker up, which is going to bring up all the services. Yeah, you want to say allow. And then that's going to attach to the actual Violet Rails server running in development. So you can see the logs and everything. Nice. So that's going to take a minute, which is good. Can we talk about how easy it is to build front ends while we wait on this?
Yeah, it's really impressive, like how fast and how great. Like we are having technology that is just easy and easier to set up. Before it's like, I remember years ago, it was so complicated and so convoluted. It's like, how do you do this? And it's so frustrating. And then you'd have to go to websites like Stack Overflow to understand like how to do the most basic things. But now things are done like just in 1-2 steps, and it's like easy. So I think that lowers a barrier for people who want to try out technology to actually enter it.
Yeah, like me and David, we put out a web page. How long did it take today to do it? Was it for you? You want to show?
It was just seconds, like just a few seconds.
So that page, right? We put together with one prompt. What did we use? Did we write everything by hand?
Yeah, like we just had to create a simple prompt like this, create a web page like this. It automatically knew it and developed it, and then also created like things like even like footer where I had my like LinkedIn and stuff like that. So that's really impressive, like how things are just getting better and better each year as technology just allows us to be more efficient with our time, especially AI, to just really be like, hey, if I have an idea, let me just quickly have AI build it out for me instead of spending time like, what does it mean to have the proper space and the color? It just like, no, build it out the border template, then I'll make the custom changes where necessary.
So how did you go from the code to the actual page, posted and everything?
Yeah, so I first came here, I gave the prompt. Once the code finished built out within a few seconds, I then copied it. Then I came over to my solutions page. Then what I then did was I went to my pages, I went to edit, for instance, and then there's this code HTML section where I added the code into it, added it, then update page, and within like 1-2 seconds or less, then it was already showing up to this page, and that was it. So the changes instantly, just like immediately, no lag.
Yeah, and that's static HTML. So using Violet Rails, right? So you gave Gemini the prompt, copied the code, and then you pasted it into your Violet Rails instance, right? And then you have your hosted page. Great. We'll talk more in detail on how to go from static page to dynamic, because that's where the real magic is, right? You want things to change. So as we go through these workshops, I hope everyone will see the beauty of building web apps in 2025. And I think it's never been so fun, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. So I see we have an error on the right side. Let's fix that. So that error actually someone fixed at Restarone last night. So if you want to go back into the repo, into the GitHub repo, you'll see there's a damn, David, you're plugging. Don't forget who's driving now.
Don't forget.
Go to pull requests.
Pull requests. Okay.
And the latest pull request should be adjust image name for Docker 2025. So the reason they do this now is there's been a few changes to Docker in 2024 and 25 where the naming convention has changed for your image names, and the requirement for having a version in your Docker file is no longer required. So we ran into this issue a few days ago. So there's the pull request. So if you look at the files changed, what you can do is you can do the same thing locally to avoid this. The files change, the last tab. The 1, 2, 3, 4th tab, yeah. So in there, you see the docker compose.yaml. In there, we're actually changing that line. On line 39, we're saying violet_rails dash solutions _ app. So make that change. Yeah, so grep for that string in that file.
Okay, so this is my compose file. So, okay.
Yeah, let's jump into your editor.
You
should have code dot. Code dot should be a thing, but we can set it up if it's not. Okay, so do you have Visual Studio Code here installed?
I do, and I also have another editor. So, okay, let me open up.
So what we can do in here, this is the trick I use. So open up Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to do it with you. Hit Command-Shift-P.
Command-Shift-P.
Yeah, and then search for install code command in path. Just search for path, P-A-T-H. There you go, right there. Hit enter, and hit OK. And then give your password. Perfect. So now if you jump back into your shell, I don't think you actually have to reload for this, but if you say code dot again, hey.
Sick.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are the tricks, right? We gotta, yeah. So, perfect. So let's open up Docker Compose YAML.
Docker Compose. Okay,
you can also do you can also do Command P to fuzzy search through the files. Yeah, so if you go Command P.
Okay, Command P.
Yeah, right there. You can just type in whatever you want, right? So you can say Docker Compose YAML, right? Type that in. And then : hit tab. Oh, it jumped. Anyway, it's fine. I was just going to show you how to jump right to the line, but the line is 39.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
And then it's not there, it's the hyphen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's hyphen between Rails and solution.
Yeah, and then you have to replace.
Just to be safe, exactly. I would just copy the whole thing. So we don't waste audience time.
And then, I would do line 85 as well, because there's the same thing is repeated that you got to change on 85. So that's the image name for the test container, because the test container maps to the same project, right? But in a different instance.
So when we say test container, could you maybe clarify what that means?
Yeah. So when you're running tests, like your automated tests, you don't want to run it against your development environment, because what that's going to do is that could pollute your development environment with bad data. We don't know if we're doing deletes in test mode, right? So what you want to do is you want to run your tests against a brand new instance that comes up dynamically just for testing. So you so you set up, right? You set up a new universe, right? You run your tests in that universe. Of course, things are going to break. Things are going to either, whatever happens, it doesn't matter, because you create that universe every time you run a test and you tear it down when you're done.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So with that file saved, the Docker Compose YAML, let's hop back into your terminal.
Okay.
And then run the command again. Hit up. Yeah, that's it.
When we say the command, this one.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's easier to show on the recording as well, let me show it. Or just
can you hide that tooltip about the Google Meet? Hide that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You can see.
Yeah, perfect. Nice.
So from here,
So we're going to run that command. And these commands are idempotent. So whatever work it's done already, it's not going to repeat. That's the beauty of Docker. So it's saying, can I see the full error message on this? It looks like your window is zoomed in too much. You want to hit Command minus a few times?
Sure.
Oh, I see. Okay, no, sorry. I'm the one zoomed in all wrong. Okay. So it's saying error response from Docker. It couldn't create a specific directory.
Make directory.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would run that first command, just Docker compose build on its own, because I want to see where exactly it breaks. Docker dash compose build. Yeah. Okay. So it is built, which is good, right? You see how. So I think the up command is what's blowing up. So let's do Docker compose up. There you go. So what happened was it was missing that permission. Remember how it gave you a pop-up? So sometimes, sometimes you may miss a pop-up. So you might need to rerun the command just so you give the process the actual permissions, right? Because the error said, hey, I couldn't create this directory inside Docker, but in reality, physically, that location is on your computer.
Right.
Because the way Docker works is Docker using your native operating system, it creates its own isolated compute environment. So it can run commands and it can write to the disk. Now, the thing is, Docker thinks it's writing to itself when under the hood, it's actually just writing to somewhere in your file system. So when these commands run, various pop-ups come up saying, hey, give me access to the network. Give me access to your documents folder. Give me access to some random place on your computer stash logs, right? So, well, it's not random, but it's all, tracked by Docker, but we just have to give access.
Right. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Okay.
So right now, what it's doing is it's grabbing all the Ruby dependencies because we're actually almost in the final stages of the Docker part of this.
Okay.
Because the way this works is you have Docker that's handling all the resources. So your network, your compute, your storage, everything. Okay. And then inside Docker is also your database, right? Because that's another service. So what we have to do is once all the Docker infrastructure is up, we have to seed the database. We got to migrate and seed the database, right? Because
when you say seed, could you explain what that means?
Yeah, seed means we're going to add data for just like okay, this is abstract. So when a new application is launched, it's going to be empty. It's a barren wasteland, right? So imagine like an empty house. You have to stage it, right? You got to put some nice furniture in. You got to make sure the water is running, right? So right now what we're doing is we're just building the actual building and the infrastructure behind it. So the water, the electricity, right? So I actually now see that your application is up. So you see how it says boot in Puma, Rails 6, starting in development, and then it's saying listening on port 5250.
Yeah, so that means if I copy this, and put it into my browser, it should lead me to it.
Let's see. Let's copy it and see. No problem. Just go localhost 52. Okay, perfect. Nice. So Violet Rails is running, but it's not ready. You see how it's saying Violet Rails is down? So let's go back into the docs because we have to do a few more steps. Remember, we haven't set up the database.
Okay.
The same wiki.
The wiki.
Yeah. If you go wiki all the way down, and the cheat sheet. Okay, so what did we do? We did all the Docker stuff. Now you have to create the database to see.
Well,
yeah.
to be clear, we didn't do this last stage. Does it matter?
Oh, yes. So that, it's not really important. What that does is it will attach the current process to the logger. So you'll see all your server logs. Right now, it's running in the background, which is fine.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
So let's copy each of those commands. Yeah.
Okay.
And let's run them one by one.
Right now, I see that it's kind of like
it's
paused.
attached. No, it's not paused. It's attached. See how if you hit enter here, it's going to just put new lines. Yeah, perfect. So leave that running. It's actually attached to you by default, which is great. Hit Command T to get a new tab. And and navigate back to Violet Rails. Yeah, and then run that command here. So what that's saying is Docker Compose, there's this app called the Solutions app, which is the name of the development application as far as Docker is concerned. And it's saying run the Rails DB create command within that process, within the Solutions app process. So it created the database, which is great. So hit up. Hit up. Yeah. So you created, now remove create and then replace that with migrate. Yeah. Now that's going to migrate the database. That's going to put the structure of the database in, right? All the entities, everything is now created. Okay. Database and the tables. Now from here, what you want to do is you want to seed it. So go up once more and say DB seed instead of migrate.
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay. While this is happening, so when we were talking about dependencies, for instance, for my past experience, I know sometimes dependencies might be out of date or break down. With this solution that we're like building and stuff like that, could we talk about like how does the system like handle like dependencies that might be out of date or broken or are no longer used?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I want to direct your before I answer that question, I actually want you to run one other command because that's going to take some time. So that's a really good question. So how do we manage dependencies in this complex application? Okay, we're going to get to this right after this command break, which is if you go back into the docs, the next command is precompile assets. So copy that, and I'm going to tell you really quickly what that does. Okay. What this is going to do is it's going to install all of your JavaScript dependencies and build out all your vendor bundles. So the vendor bundle, remember how you showed that editor that was in the website, in the Violet Rails site, you saw that editor? So that is part of what is called Redactor, which is another library that we use in Violet Rails. So we need to have a process of building those libraries locally because those don't change. A vendor is just a company that you're using, right? So a vendor bundle is their code, right? So this puts together all those vendor bundles and your styling for your admin, right? For example, that stuff doesn't change, right? So it does all of that kind of, it handles all of your front-end JavaScript dependencies, okay? And that's going to take some time. So I'm going to actually answer your question on how do we manage dependencies in Violet Rails? And that's a great question. So let's hop back into the code base for Violet. And let's start with the Docker Compose YAML file, okay? Oh, in Visual Studio Code.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's a bit easier. Let's make it nice and big. Yeah. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, this is perfect. So in this Docker Compose YAML, you said, how do we manage dependencies? So what are dependencies? Dependencies are the various libraries you're using, like Redactor, like Ruby on Rails, but also dependencies can also be services that your system depends on, like a database or a cache or some kind of file storage, right? So at the most basic level, when you set up Violet Rails locally, you need all of these various services, right? That's where Docker comes in. Docker allows us to set up that infrastructure locally and also in the cloud, right? Because you can run Docker in the cloud. But the long story short of Docker is that Docker lets you define all the services for your application in one file. It's called the Docker Compose. So you can see we're looking at a Docker Compose file right now. On line 2, it sets up 2 networks up top. Yeah. It sets up volumes for your database. It sets up a volume for your gem dependencies, which is your Ruby dependencies. And also it sets up a volume for shared data that may need to be shared between multiple services. So in short, we define our service dependencies in Docker Compose, and then outside of that, we define our other dependencies depending on what they are, either in the gem file. So your Ruby dependencies go into your gem file. We can pull that up right now. Or if you have JavaScript dependencies, those go into your package JSON file. So let's quickly open up Command P, gem, enter, boom. So that's the gem file where we define all of our Ruby dependencies and along with their versions, okay? If we go Command P again and go package JSON, that defines all of your front-end dependencies.
Right.
Okay? Now, to add some more confusion, let's go Command P again. Yeah, I mean, what is software engineering without confusion? Search package JSON again. Yeah, go package JSON again. Aha! What do you see, David?
I see there's one for the client.
Yeah, so there's one under. Yeah, got him right. So hey, which one?
Yeah,
so there's one. Yeah, so there's one on the server side, which is that first one, right? Because that's at the top level. Here, let's open that one. Let me show you that one. So that's the one you already have open. So hit enter. You see how that's at the top level, that package JSON. That's at the same level. Yeah, it's at the same level as the README file for the repo.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so that is your server side package JSON. Because remember, you can build JavaScript dependencies on the server.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So that's why we have that, because the Violet Rails server can also serve JavaScript. So we have that there. Because remember, we have the admin, which is in the Violet Rails, like Ruby on, I mean, all of it is Ruby on Rails, but the admin doesn't change. So that is on as a part of the server JavaScript dependencies, which is here. And then if you open up the other package JSON, so Command P package JSON, not in there, in the in the editor. You'll see the second one, as you pointed out, under client. So let's open that.
Okay.
Aha. What is this? Violet Rails. Yeah, Violet Rails ships with various front ends. So if you want an Ember client, which is likely the most complicated thing to set up, we actually have that set up ready for you out of the box. So if you say, so remember how you showed editing HTML through Violet Rails using that editor?
Right. Yep.
If you say, hey, we don't want to deal with that, we want to build our code ourselves, package it separately, and then have Violet pull that down at build time, then you would use this. Because then you're hosting your front-end code separately, right? And then when you deploy your Violet Rails server, that's when the build for that happens, right? So if you have a build strategy like that, here's why we have a package JSON inside the client library, inside the client folder, because that's where your Ember client or your React client or your Vue apps or whatever go in there.
Okay, and something that really caught my attention is that right now in this script right here on line 14, it's equal to production. Let's say I want to have like multiple environments. Does Violet Rails allow me to have that? Allow me to customize it to like my team's like setup?
Yeah, so that is managed through the server. So as far as the front end is concerned, it's always going to be running in production mode. Yep. But the back end is going to know if it's in staging, production, or test.
Sounds good.
And yeah, and that's managed through, if you search for command p.env.
Could you say it one more time?
Yeah, .env.
Okay, then
it's a dot file, yeah. .env.development, go into that one.
Okay.
Boom, Rails environment. So you would set that, because at the end of the day, what is the source of truth? The source of truth is your server, not your client.
That makes sense. Yep, and that makes complete sense. Great. So this is awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and this is the minimum number of environment variables you need to run a Violet Rails instance.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. So let's go back to your terminal, see where we are in the process. We are about 1 minute over time, I hope. Oh, I hope it completed, and it did.
Amazing. Huh.
Great. So I would love to wrap up soon. The last step is to actually check this out. So let's go to localhost 5250 on your browser.
Localhost. Was it this one?
Yeah, you can just refresh this. It'll work. Yeah, you can hit retry or Command R.
Hey, there you go. We did it. Easy.
Beautiful. So let's log. Yeah, well, easy, right? So let's go /admin and let's get you logged in. So the default username and password are actually on the repo. It's in the same README. So if you open up your third tab, I think, third from the left, or second maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's open up the docs again quick so I can just show you where the password is. It's at the bottom of that page. Okay, and then development cheat sheet. There you go. Yeah. And the bottom or up, sorry. I don't remember the order of this.
No worries.
Right there. 5250 admin, violet@rails.com, password 123456.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Now everything works in here. This is your local environment. And you can set up subdomains and everything. So if you go to /sys, I mean, you can discover the rest of this, but that's how quick Violet Rails is to set up locally. Few commands using Docker.
This is amazing. And like, now just seeing this is like, gives me like a lot of ideas and just like a lot of inspirations. Like, hey, I can use it to do this and that and quickly and stuff. Oh, wow, this is pretty amazing. Yeah. I'm going to stop recording here. Sounds good.
Because I want to kind of wrap up this session.